today we are going to read the next installment of Fish in a Tree. We are on chapter 10, and remember, she has a new teacher now, and we're trying to figure out if he's good for her situation or if he's going to just make things worse. So let's get going. Chapter 10, Promises, Promises. All right, people, Mr. Daniel said, rubbing his hands together like a mad scientist. First thing I'm going to do today is a book talk. I will do that a lot this year. Tell you all about some of my very favorite stories. When Mr. Daniels talks about books, it reminds me of Max or Oliver, like he's ready to launch a giant party. I like hearing about the story, but asking me to read them would be like asking a lobster to play tennis. And then it gets worse. He holds up a pile of notebooks. I have a surprise. I have a brand new writing journal for each of you, which you will write in every single day. Oh no, I'd rather eat grass. But here's the thing. I will sometimes give you a topic, but not very often. And I will never, ever, even if an evil sorcerer threatens to turn all my correcting pens into clear ink, correct your work. Huh? They will never be graded, they will never be corrected, and most days I won't even tell you what to write about. You may write about your life, sports, or the country of Bulgaria for all I care. Anything. Wow, is this man delirious? No correcting? Anything we want? This is too good to be true. I know something is coming. There are only a couple of rules. There are the rules. The rules. You must put pencil to paper and do something, and I will often answer with a sentence or two. Right back, Oliver said. Can we grade you? Mr. Daniels laughs. We're not going to grade at all, Oliver. This is about communication, self-expression, not measurements. Sure, he says, passing up the notebooks. Mine is yellow, a little too nice of a color for a writing thing. Can I write about football? Max said. Anything you want. Can we ask you questions? Max says. Anything you want. Remember, I said anything. This is going to be great, Oliver says. I'm going to ask for answers to the test and for extra recess and unlimited ketchup in the cafeteria. Well, Mr. Daniels says, as I said, you can ask whatever you want. So open up these notebooks now and put your first entry and make it you. This journal is yours, so an introduction to you may be a good thing, no matter how you choose to express that. Keisha begins writing while Albert stares at the blank page. The room is filled with the sounds of pencils scratching. Suki is rubbing one of her blocks with her thumb. I wonder if she's thinking about her grandfather. I see a mind movie of me walking through a forest of alphabet blocks, and they're all stacked on top of each other. They sway like trees in the wind, and I worry that they will come crashing down on top of me. I think about drawing that, but decide to color a big three-dimensional cube with dark black sides. He said we could do anything. I want to see if he really means it. The next day, Mr. Daniels holds my journal open to the page where I drew the big black cube. I figured he wouldn't let go. He holds his palm facing me and says, I know I said I'd never correct you, and I'm not going to. I'm just wondering if you would mind telling me what this means. Do you like the color black, or does it mean something? Either way, it's okay. I think of the things that might make him mad and remember how he said a person can't be too good at the wrong things. Maybe I don't want to get in trouble this time. It's a picture of a dark room, I said. Oh, why would you draw a picture of a dark room? He looks serious now. It was supposed to be something about us. Why would a dark room have something to do with you, Allie? His voice is soft, really soft. I swallowed hard, because in a dark room, no one could see me. He stares down at my black cube. Then he clears his throat before looking back up. Okay, thank you for being honest, Allie. I'm so relieved that he isn't mad. Allie, can you tell me why you don't want to be seen? I think it would be easier to be invisible, I said. Why? I shrug. I don't want to give him an answer, but I have too many words and just not enough words at the same time. He nods slowly. Well, he says, I'm glad you're not invisible, Allie, because this class wouldn't be the same without you. I don't believe him, but it makes me happy that he said it. I realize looking at him like that all this time, I haven't been looking into the teacher's face. I've been staring into his stomach while I sit at my desk and they tell me that things are wrong with me. But now, on top of all those big wishes that I carry around, I have one more. I want to impress Mr. Daniels with every tiny little piece of myself. I just want him to actually like me. Chapter 11, Scrambled Egg. When we come into the classroom, Mr. Daniels makes an announcement. Attention people, we have brand new seats, so find yours and settle in. Jessica is sitting next to Suki and staring at Shay like their separation is a great tragedy. It turns out that I'm sitting in the front row next to Keisha, the girl who can bake and write at the same time while I can't do either one. We don't speak all morning and I can't stop worrying that she doesn't like me, but when she finally glances at me, I blurt out, "I don't mind being your friend." Keisha looked annoyed. "You don't have to do me any favors." "No," I say, trying to undo what I didn't mean to say. I just mean, and then I stop because I don't know what I meant and I'm nervous and I'm embarrassed and everything is never good when I try to say something. I've dug myself into a hole, so I figure it's best to just shut my mouth. But then the silence gets too long and too loud, so I try to think of something to say. I always knew what to say to my grandpa, and he always knew what to say to me. I wish he was here to whisper in my ear, and then I think of Alice and how she argued with Humpty Dumpty about using the right word, so I turn to Keisha and I blurt out, "Do you like eggs?" "Eggs?" she says. Oh no, she thinks I'm a barrel full of crazy. But I keep going because sometimes my tongue goes on without my say-so. Yeah, I love eggs. Scrambled eggs, fried eggs, poached on toast, boiled eggs. I love peeling the shell off a boiled egg, don't you? I even like egg salad, which my brother won't eat, even if someone holds him down, and her eyebrows scrunch up, reminding me of angry caterpillars. That's incredibly interesting. Then she searches inside of her desk for something. I know this move. It's a polite way of ignoring me. People do it a lot. I finally just put my head down. Grandpa used to say that Alice in Wonderland falling down the rabbit hole was just like real life. I didn't used to understand what he meant, but I do now. There can't be any place on the planet scarier than a school cafeteria. I hold my tray so tight that my fingers hurt. I hear, "Hey Allie, it's Shay." She's standing with Jessica and a few others. "Yeah?" I say. "Do you want to sit with us at lunch?" Of course I don't want to sit with them, but I'm getting tired of sitting alone and having everyone else see me sit alone. Besides that, Shay, Jessica, and some other girls all have woven these friendship bracelets, and I've never had the kinds of friends who have matching bracelets, but I've always wanted them. It's like the bracelet tells the world that the person wearing it has someone who cares about them. Not like a family member that just has to care, but someone who just likes you for you. I want to feel a part of something, anything, I guess. Shay is overly happy that I've said yes. I sit down after glancing at the seat to make sure I won't be sitting in a pool of glue or something, and Shay motions to me to sit next to her. She and Jessica smile that smile that on the outside seems fine, but your gut tells you to be careful of. There are a few other girls. Max is there with one other boy. Jessica points at Albert and they start laughing. I look over and I don't see anything funny. "Can you believe it?" Shay says. "How pathetic is that? Hey Albert," she calls. "Is that supposed to be a fashion statement?" I still don't get it. He's wearing his usual Flint shirt and jeans. Why are they so worked up? Shay hits me on the side of the arm and points down at his feet. The back of his sneakers have been cut out. Shay calls him over and he comes. I don't know why everyone does what she says. Even me, today anyways. "What's the matter?" she asked him. "Don't you have any money for shoes?" "Quite the contrary," Albert begins, "but given the choice of buying new sneakers that I will outgrow in 3 months or a chemistry set that I can use for an undefined amount of time, this seemed like the clear choice. They're in fine shape except for just being a bit short." "Did you hear that?" Shay said. "He chopped the back of his shoes off, like slippers." Jessica says, "Next, he'll be wearing a robe." Shay turns to her. "I think robes would be cool. We should wear them tomorrow." "Yeah, that would be cool," Jessica says. Shay laughs, but I don't think Jessica knows that Shay isn't laughing because of the robes. I think Shay said something dumb to see if Jessica would just go along. Sometimes I think Jessica would follow Shay out of an airplane without a parachute if she told her to. Then Shay turns to me. "Well, Allie," she says, "what do you think of wearing robes tomorrow?" I'd like to tell her that it's dumb, but I say, it's not my thing. "Is that so? Well, what do you think of Albert and his slippers?" I feel like I'm in one of those old detective movies that Grandpa loved, in a cramped, small room and under a bright light being asked question after question that I really don't want to answer. The thought to stick up for him goes through my head, but that doesn't seem like the right answer for Shay. "They're pretty dopey," I say. "What a weirdo, huh?" I've made Shay happy, but now I feel terrible. And I know that I'm going to feel even worse when the shade comes down over Albert's face when he looks sad, but that never comes. He just stands there eating Doritos and studying us like we're lab mice. I think it's curious that you worry about what I have on my feet when the three of you are wearing red shirts. Not a wise color. Red is the color of stoplights and stop signs, bad wounds, warning lights, and the most severe sunburns. It represents red alerts and high fevers. Red numbers show a loss in accounting, and red represents danger. And here you are wearing red shirts. I think of all the red marks that cover my papers from teachers, how I hate to get them back. Jessica laughs out loud. What a weirdo, Albert. Furthermore, he says, any crew member of Star Trek Starship Enterprise who wears a red shirt never appears in another episode. Frankly, I think you've made poor choices. They all burst out into laughter. Albert, Max says, it's only a TV show, dude, and not a very good one either. Albert's arm stops dead on the way to his mouth with another Dorito. Not a very good one? Albert, Shay says, leaning forward a bit, you go right ahead and ignore what you look like. But it's the rest of us who suffer. We have to look at you. Actually, he says, I don't take my appearance lightly. I take you lightly. And with that, he turns and walks away and is gone before she can pull out some other mean thing to say. And I wish I was more like Albert. Seeing him shuffle away in those sneakers makes me want to be better. I'm not perfect, but at least I'm not mean. And then my heart sinks because I realize that I just was. I guess I did it because I was lonely. Now I know that there are worse things than being lonely. Okay, the next chapter we're going to read is chapter 12, and it is called What's Your Problem, Albert? Light from the hallway pours into my room as Mom opens the door. Hey, honey. Hey. I came in to check on you. You seem quite different at dinner tonight. Is something going on? Mean kids at school. Oh, Allie, I'm sorry you had to put up with that. What happened? Well, the kids who are mean? Yeah, I was one of them, I said. Oh, she says with a sigh. I'm surprised by that, Allie. Tell me what happened. Those girls that came into Peterson's that time, well, they asked me to have lunch with them, and I sat at their table, but they started being mean to this kid named Albert about his clothes. I look up into her eyes, and I went along with it, and I feel really bad about it. My mom brushes my forehead with her fingertips. You're not a little girl anymore, Allie, so it's not too soon to decide what kind of person you want to be. Of course, I know what kind of person you are, and I love you for it. She kisses me on the head. You made a mistake. Everyone does. Just do your best to make it right. That's all. The words I'm sorry are really powerful ones. Yeah, okay, I'll make it right with him. That's my girl, she says, kissing my forehead one more time before she walks off. The next morning at school, I'm wondering how I can make things right with Albert. I'm drawing a pigeon wedding in my sketchbook, and I don't know that Keisha is standing right behind me. You drew that? I moved my arm quickly to cover it. Why would you cover it? If I could draw like that, I'd put it on TV for everybody to see. Thanks, I say. I don't know why I'm embarrassed, but for some reason I am. Keisha sits in her chair as I stare at her head full of thin braids, thinking it must take 3 days to do all that. So beautiful. I just love it. Not like my boring hair that just hangs there. I reach out to touch her hair, and then she turns towards me all of a sudden. What are you doing? Oh, sorry, there was a mosquito. Something. Just then, Albert walks in, and he looks upset. I want to be able to tell my mom that I made things right with him, so I walk over. Albert, are you okay? I say, wondering if he'll tell me to strap myself to a rocket and light the fuse. I have a problem, he said. My eyebrows rise. I'm sorry about the cafeteria thing, I said. That didn't bother me. No need to apologize. It didn't? It didn't bother you at all to have a table full of people make fun of you? You're kidding. Why would I be kidding? Can it really be that he doesn't care what people think of him? We just stare at each other awkwardly for a minute. If that didn't bother him at all, and this new problem really does, then it must be really bad. Maybe it has to do with the bruises he has all over him all the time. Can I help? I say. No offense, but I don't really think so. Okay, I say. It's just a problem that I can't get out of my head. I feel like I won't be able to relax until I find my answer. Do you want to talk about it? I know sometimes when I have a problem, if I talk about it with my brother or my mom, and even if I don't find an answer, I feel better anyway. Well, he said, I'll wait. I've been wondering, if an insect is flying inside of a moving train car, is it traveling faster than the train itself? And if the insect flies in the opposite direction that the train is moving in, is it then traveling more slowly than the train? Obviously, if the fly is on the wall, then it's moving at the same speed as long as it isn't walking, but the movement within the movement is a puzzle to me. Oh, I say. He turns to me, a little intense. You can see the problem here. He doesn't ask. He tells. I know he doesn't really think I can help. Who knows if I could possibly figure out the science part of what he's talking about, but my mind shows me that insect in that train car. It's a dragonfly with brilliant greenish blue wings and tiny goggles over its eyes. The car is old with dark wood walls and green curtains like from Grandpa's old Western movies, and the people have old-fashioned clothes. I see them like they're with me now. Some of the men are sleeping. One is waving the dragonfly off with a newspaper, not even noticing its tiny goggles. Ladies with the most beautiful dresses sit there too. And I see a girl who's with her mother, and her mother keeps asking her if she's enjoying the ride, and she keeps saying yes, being sure to have a happy sounding voice. I don't know everything about the girl inside my mind, but I do know that she has a lot more to worry about than a fly in a train car. She just doesn't fit in. She's all dressed up in fancy clothes and has to pretend but to be someone that she's not. She wants to mess around, help build fences. She wants to ride a horse the real way, not side saddle like her mother says. When I come back from my mind movie, Albert has already walked away, but I don't care. I can't help thinking about the girl on the train and how she feels. Like she wants to do so much, but she's held back, and it makes her feel heavy and angry, like she's dragging a concrete block around all the time. And I'd like to help her break free from that. And that's where I'm going to stop. So next time we will be starting with chapter 13, and it is called Trouble with Flowers. So when we come back, you will get to figure out what the trouble is and what exactly flowers she's talking about. So I will see you next time. Bye!